Look at that bend. Hello everybody, Cam S here. Today should be an interesting fishing trip because apparently last night we had quite the snowstorm. None of the roads were plowed on the way in, and it's still very windy from last night. So hopefully I can get the shanty anchored down with no issue, and I've got a cooler with lunch packed to stay all day. And I caved. I took my sonar off my boat, so I've got a sonar now. That I've got something all rigged up for that. So hopefully we can get into some fish today. I have a heavier rod set up now too, try to catch some walleye or whatever else decides to bite. So hopefully we can get into some fish today. Hopefully we can get into some new species, and I've got some other setups as well to try to increase the amount of fish that I'm able to catch today. So trying some new things out, and hopefully they work out. I will see you out on the ice. Hello everybody, sorry for the interruption. I just want to take a few seconds to thank all of you for 500 subscribers. It may seem like a small accomplishment, but it is a huge milestone to hit, and they always say the first 1,000 is the hardest to reach. So that's my goal, and you got me halfway there, and I'm very appreciative for all of you. And if you have anything you want to see on the channel, any suggestions, recommendations, or anything that you'd like to see, leave them down in the comments. I'll try my best to do all of them, and I'm very appreciative for all of you. Thank you all very much, and let's get out on the ice. Well, it took way longer than anticipated yet again to get set up. I believe it is 9 o'clock, and yeah, 9:30, and I started getting out here at I think 7:30. So we had the first pull in the water, and hopefully can get into some fish. I'm still getting the hang of the sonar thing because I've never used it like this before, so I'm not sure if I'm picking up fish or not. So hopefully we can figure it out and find the lure down there, and then hopefully catch some fish. That feels like such a big fish on this new light rod. Not too bad of a start of the day, or for the day, but nothing magnificent. Missed it. Look at that bend. I'm pretty sure it's not very big. I can't wait to see what it looks like when I get a giant fish on, or if I get a giant fish on, because that's how big that is, and it's bending like crazy. I haven't even had time yet to possibly get my walleye rig set up. I've been just trying to figure out what the fish look like on this fish finder, what my bait looks like, and just trying to figure out if there's fish here. So just kind of been experimenting so far and trying to just mentally decide what I'm gonna rig up. It shows there's a fish at right now, so might need to try to come up off the bottom and try to catch it. But my one pole that I usually use broke, so I could have 3 perch lines in the water right now, but I'm not sure if, because I replaced it with another light rod like this one, so I'm not sure if the heavier baits that I usually use for perch will necessarily work. Oh! That's quite a bit of bend right now. I think this one might be a little bigger. Oh yeah. Not huge, but bigger than the last one. Little one. Well, we moved. I ended up drilling a few more holes and moving the shanty a little bit shallower because I was out pretty deep and it was not being very productive. And I drilled my first hole and checked the depth and dropped a line down, and as soon as I dropped the line down, I had a bite. So I drilled a few more holes and moved my shanty over here, and I ended up losing a fish, which felt like a pretty decent sized perch. And it was because I was trying to get the cameras situated, but I ended up losing one. Hopefully this will be a better spot. Well, we've got kind of a slow streak here, so I wanted to show what I have going for my DIY setup for my sonar. I have the transducer down there, which is like the basic one from the Garmin Striker 4, I believe, which is the one from I think it's designed for the trolling motor. So I actually have a coat hanger type thing here. The other end is clipped up here. I cut the actual hanger part off so I could clip it on there and clip the end of the wire right here so I could have a little bit of control over how deep the transducer goes. And then I just have a ammo box with the battery in there. I've got some boards around it so it doesn't rock around in there. And then your Garmin Striker, I believe it's the 4, but everything packs up into there nicely for easy transportation, and still getting the hang of it, but it makes it a lot nicer to actually know what depth you are at. So here's a little bit of a closer look at the setup. I have the battery in here, and I just have some old ammo trays in the bottom to keep the battery from sliding around. So like I said, when it is all packed up, I have everything tucked away in here. Transducer goes right here. But then when I get set up, I just take this pants clothes hanger, clip one end here, and clip the other end to the transducer depending on what depth the ice is and how deep I want my transducer. Everything just packs away in here like this. You can close it up. It's all set to go. Now let's get back out onto the ice. I don't even know if I've caught a single fish since I've moved spots, so apparently I should have stayed out in the deep water. I couldn't remember where I was at on the ice because my holes were froze over, so I thought I was out there a little too far, but I guess not, because that's where I was catching the fish at. I think it took me an hour to move to where I did just because it takes me so long to drill with the hand auger that I didn't really feel like packing everything up and take another hour to move. So hopefully with the sun going down, the fish start biting a little bit here so I can catch some more fish before I have to leave. But I'm not sure if I'll get too cold by then because I have ran out of propane, and I don't know if you can see my breath, but it is getting pretty cold in here too. So at least I'm out of the wind, but it's still pretty chilly. Well, I got bored of the fish not biting, so currently the GoPro is down below attached to the tip up, so I'm gonna pull it up now and see if there's any footage on it. I just decided that I better start recording just in case something not very good happens, because that would be my luck. And I did get a little nibble on my one rod while the camera was down there, so hopefully that means I caught something on camera to see why the fish are not committing. But I didn't really have any control of which way it faced or if it was even facing up. Hopefully it was facing horizontal, and hopefully it's facing towards my hook. Well, that's a good sign. It's still recording, and I made it all the way up without losing it, so. Also figured I would show you my ice fishing bucket. I've got rod holders for all 4 of my rods, and then I got rod holders, then my tip up holder. Got my flag down over there, and holder for my scoop. So ended up modifying it all last weekend so that I could head out this weekend, and it worked pretty good except for the fact that my handle broke off. A little bit of a closer look is just heated up a nail, poked it through, and put zip ties all around it. So that's basically all that's holding everything in. The rod holders are just 2 zip ties at the bottom, and sometimes 1 because I have a little clip up here for this rod, but most of the time I have 1 or 2 zip ties at the bottom to keep the rod in place. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to call that a day. May have worn out my luck at this spot because that was not like normal, so might need to look at some different places. It kind of turned into a what my setup is video, so hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm sorry there wasn't much fish, but at least you got to see kind of what all I do while I'm fishing. So if you have any questions about my sonar or anything else like that, leave it down in the comments below. And hopefully next time we can get into some fish, hopefully a lot of fish, and hopefully some big fish. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh my